Hey everyone, this is Hardy from Digital Painting Studio. It's great to be back. I've been away for quite a while since my last video, and it's been one global pandemic for all of us and a career change for me since I last posted. I've jumped ship from my former job to focus entirely on freelance concept art and focus on teaching and running my school full time. So quite a year of change and chaos for everybody. So my sincere best wishes to all of you. I've spent the last year building Concept Art Academy, and today we're going to use this really cool shape design project from the design module is the basis for a cool rendering that will kind of be happening in the background. And I really like this design. Cool shapes, loads of speed and movement. It's just something really fun. It's a good jump off point to talk about some digital painting concepts that I think can help a lot of artists. This is some tough stuff that I have very slowly come to understand over years. So I'm hoping that this can help a few artists out there. Today let's talk about looseness, keeping your digital paintings loose. This is advice that I got over and over again. Keep your digital paintings loose. But I didn't really know what to do with that. It's like, sure, I can keep it really loose. I can just kind of smear and smudge a bunch of textured brushes around the canvas, but it'll be loose, but it won't look like anything. So it seems like you can only do one or the other. You can make it either technically correct, do all that value color stuff to make it look realistic, or you can make it loose. It seems like you are either doing one or the other, kind of a zero-sum game. But I've started to notice recently that just about all of the digital artists who I revere, artists like Anthony Jones or Cédric Perret-Vernet, they have this common quality. It's like they have two different kinds of art mastery happening at the same time. Their art is technically great, just designed beautifully. It tells this awesome story. It's doing all those things like light and dark, color harmony. All of those great art school boxes are checked. But at the same time, there is this brushwork sorcery happening. Incredibly loose, expressive brush strokes, and it somehow just looks like paint flying around a canvas. It's super alive. All of that great charm and whimsy of traditional art that digital art so often lacks. It's all just fully on display in the work of these masters. And please check out these two artists if you somehow haven't heard of them. Anthony Jones, Cédric Perret-Vernet. He's the one who did those beautiful portraits from the Dishonored franchise. He's worked on a lot of amazing projects. And of course, Anthony Jones is a renowned creature and all kinds of other concept artists. He's a really great teacher, really great legends in the industry. So certainly give them a look if you haven't checked them out. And they do this looseness thing incredibly well. So how the hell do they do that? And while I'm certainly not Anthony Jones or Cédric Perret-Vernet, I am finally starting to sort of get how to balance these two things, how to walk in these two worlds, how to let these two considerations, looseness versus technical rendering, actually help each other rather than competing. It's actually not a zero-sum game. So here's some thoughts on that I'm hoping will be helpful. It's been really helpful for me to realize this. And the first one is to let go of the idea of perfection. Over-rendering and over-detailing in search of some finished, polished, perfect digital painting almost always seems to just kill it for me. I look at my portfolio from 10 years ago, and just about every piece of art looks totally lifeless and sterile. So the best way to overcome that is to just let go of that idea of perfection. Embrace all of the little weird brush marks. As you can see in this painting I'm working on here, some of my favorite parts are the little happy accident flick of the wrist brush strokes, something really textured, moving fast. And that's one of my main solutions for this type of thing, is to just keep things moving forward quickly. If I am on hour 3 or hour 4 of a digital painting, there's a good chance that I am overdoing it. So we have to keep things moving quickly. That sense of speed, moving the process forward, will keep you from accidentally veering into this ditch, this over-rendered, lifeless, sterile form of digital art. Another really important thing to realize is that you don't have to render every part of your digital painting in high detail. I used to think that I was just being lazy if there were certain parts of the painting that I just didn't feel like adding a lot of detail. It just seemed like laziness. But it's actually better, I have come to find, if we save our really laser-focused detail for the most important parts of the painting. So you can see here, I am keeping things loose and brushy and expressive everywhere that I can. And if we can do that, if we can kind of target detail just to a few focal points, it has this great effect of leading the viewer's eye where we want it to be. We can tell the viewer, this is my detailed part, this is where I want your focus and attention to be. And there's all kinds of cool machinery and a few parts of the writer's face here that I wanted focus to be, and that's where I've put a lot of detail. But notice there are these other parts, kind of the flip side of the coin, where I'm trying to keep as much of this painting as loose as I can. I think my favorite part of this entire painting is the writer's cloak. It's because it's just a few brush strokes. It's just some color smudged around with these nice painterly brush marks. But that cloak gives the entire image its sense of speed. It looks like these really expressive, alive marks kind of whipping along in the wind, and you suddenly get the feeling that she's just flying along at 100 miles an hour. And it starts having that really expressive, alive, charming quality. So looking at the helmet and all of the machinery right next to that loose, expressive cloak blowing in the wind, it kind of shows you those two things balancing off of one another. It's one of those great things where the easier thing to do is actually the better thing to do. So you can really make that work for you rather than fighting against these two things, making them compete against each other. The thing that's so hard about this, that makes it such a tough hill to climb, is that this takes an incredible amount of confidence in your process. That's why it's taken me a decade or more just to get to the point where I am comfortable knowing which parts of a painting to just smudge around and leave messy and loose and fun, versus which ones that have to be rendered really tight and technically correct and realistic. It's having those technical skills so ingrained into your process that you can start to let go. So I've started to sort of see the whole journey of digital painting mastery really differently. I once thought it was this endless march towards realism and perfection, that the truly idealized, fully realized digital painting master could paint something that's just photorealistic effortlessly. But it's kind of like, what's the point of that is art? There's photography, there's 3D engines that can make something indistinguishable from real life, but that's not really the point of art, at least 2D art, certainly not digital painting. It's got to have that warmth and that life, that relatable quality that draws the viewer in and makes it effective as a piece of concept art. We have to communicate and really relate. So the way I've come to really see digital painting mastery now, and this is constantly evolving, but the way I'm seeing it now is that perfect balance between technical realism, that nice light and dark color harmony, all of that great art school stuff, balanced with looseness and expressiveness, some perfect little area of a painting where it both looks like something technically real but it also just looks like an expressive brushstroke in the exact same spot. That's what these digital painting masters are doing. It's both. It is that cool, technically real thing, like one of Cedric Perret-Vernet's faces. They are incredible. He captures the human soul to an incredible degree. You just instantly feel like you know these people. It feels like a real person looking out at you. Very engaging and very technically correct. His anatomy is flawless. All of the structures of the face, the lighting, all incredibly technically capable. But at the same time, if you look really closely, it's all just these loose, choppy brush strokes, and it just makes the whole image sing. It feels so alive. And that is the new ideal that I'm reaching for now. Something that can be both. It can be that technically correct, real-looking thing that does all of those great design things, tells a story, makes the viewer feel something, but also has that really alive, brushy quality that just makes it more relatable, more warm and inviting and charming and awesome. I hope you find that helpful, this whole approach of balancing looseness versus technical rendering and making the two reinforce each other, actually lift each other up rather than competing. It was a real game changer for me, so I hope a few artists really find that useful. Here's a look at the finished painting, and I love it. It's balancing those two concerns pretty well. It's got a lot of cool technical rendering, some realism, but not too much. It's got a lot of loose, expressive brushwork, and the whole thing just feels very alive and fast. It has that sense of speed. So that's kind of right in that balance zone where I want it to be. Enrollment is now open for Concept Art Academy, so if you want to learn some career-launching design and digital painting skills, definitely check that out. Good luck with your artwork, everyone. Paint something cool, and I will see you next time.